This video is going to cover the links demo for Web Design 1. Once you're logged into the Web Design 1 Blackboard course, click on Demos, and then you are going to scroll down until you see the Links section. Locate the Links Demo Start zip, right-click, Save Link As. We want this to go inside of the Web 1 folder, Demos. So locate your Web 1 folder, go inside of Demos, and then you should see the Links Demo Start zip. So double click it to unzip, and then you can delete the zip. Okay, it looks like we got some extra files in there this time, and we're going to see what those are all about in a minute. But what we want to do, as always, is start with the index, because that's our home page. And we will take a look at those extra files in a few minutes. So let's go ahead into Dreamweaver. This is all we have on the home page right now. And let's give this a minute to update. If it doesn't update like mine did, somewhere in the empty gray area, you can right click and go down to refresh local files, and then it should pop up. Okay, so we've got, like I said, the index, the about, and the contact. Let's just open up the index.html. Okay, so we have our reset link in there, and it has all the code in, so that's great. We have our styles link in there. It doesn't have anything in it, but at least it's linked. And we do have the body tag and then an H1 that says main page. Okay, so for right now, we are just going to start by making a couple of links on here. And we will start with doing some external links. So let's, after the H1, let's put in a nav tag, and this will be, we'll just call this external. This isn't like a typical name for links, but this just happens to work for what we are doing. Okay, you should put in a comment saying closing external. Okay, or you could say, you could also do this as closing pound external, so that way you know that it's an ID. All right, I'm actually going to scroll up just a little bit. Okay, so you have the nav ID external, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a link to, I'll add a link to Google's website. So I need left caret A space href, and then you need to put in the full address for Google's website. So that's http://www.google.com. If you only put in google.com, it's not going to work. And here's the thing, if you don't know what the address is, well, go to the internet, type it in, and then I know it shows up like this anyway, but if you highlight this and copy it and then come in and paste, it puts the whole thing in anyway. Right? And that one is actually an HTTPS, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. So that's actually a secure website. Okay, now since this is external, we want it to open up in a different tab in the browser. So I'm going to do space, target, equals, quote, underscore blank, quote. And then I can do the right caret. So this is one of the longer opening tags we had, but this entire tag right here, this is just the opening. Next thing that I need to do is put in what I want someone to click on in order to go to that href address. Well, in this case, I just want them to click on the word Google, and then I can close my A tag. So if I save this, and then, not that, I come back here and refresh, look, I've got Google link. Click on it, and then it opens up in a new tab. It's going to open up Google's website. All right, great. Let's also do a link for, we'll link to PTC. So I'll do a href. And again, if you don't know what the address is, just come in, type that in. Okay. Then you highlight the entire address, copy, and then come in and paste. Okay, again, do space target equals underscore blank. Close the, or end the opening A tag, and then we'll just write PTC, and then close the A tag. Okay, so I'll save, and then refresh, and now I have my two links. Okay, so that's just showing you quickly how you can add external links. The next thing that we might want to do is actually add in some main navigation. So main navigation or universal navigation are links that are the same on every page. So those would be like home, about, contact, directions, ticket prices, things like that, that you would want to have a link to on every page. So I'm going to do another nav tag, and this one I'll call main. And I'll just scroll a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see my code. And then same thing, you're just going to go in. I'm actually going to make these smaller to give myself some more room to code. There we go. And let's add in a link for, we'll say, we'll do the link for home, about, and contact. So I'll do left caret A, space href, and now you have to know your file paths. So the index page is in the same folder as about and home. So, or about, home, and contact. So if I'm linking to the home page, that's just going to be index.html because that's the page that we're on. And then I'll just write home, and then you close the A tag. The reason this one isn't going to go and use target equals underscore blank because it's going to stay within this root folder. All right, I'll do another one, A, href. So now I want to link to about, so it's going to be about.html. Do the right caret and write about. Okay, lastly, same thing. I'll do, whoops, that's not right. href equals quote, and then this one is going to be contact.html, and then I'll write contact. So whatever you put between the A tags, this is what's going to be clickable. You could even put an image in here if you wanted to, but for this case, and for the case of the assignment, what we have is just fine. Okay, so we can see that we have these other links. So if I click on about, all right, there we go. It took me to the about page, but now I can't go to my other pages. I have to hit the back button, and that's actually bad. A bad practice in web coding. So I click on a contact. Okay, so it took me to the contact page, but I can't do anything else. So here's what we want to do. Because the file paths would be the same on all pages, we are just going to highlight this entire nav tag, copy it, open up about, scroll down here and paste, and then save, and then open up contact, paste, and then save. And I'm going to close these two files because I don't need them. Now when I click on about, look, I've got links to all of my pages. I can go to all pages, and that is what universal navigation is. It's the links that are repeated on every page. The order of these will never change. All right, home, about, contact. It has to stay in that order every time, or else you can confuse your viewer, and that's not good. Okay, so we are back on index.html. So now let's go in and start to style them. So let's go to the CSS. And what we are going to do is, let's just start by putting a color. All right, so I'm going to do a::link, comma, a::active, comma, and then a::visited. So that way you're going to style those states of a link. And let's just make them a certain color. So you can make it whatever color you want. So just choose this green. And then if you want to get rid of the underline, then you do text-decoration none. Okay, so that made all of our links green. But now we want to style the hover because you never want to leave it without a rollover, because a rollover or a hover is going to indicate that something can happen whenever you click on it. Yes, I know it is giving us the pointer finger, but what if the browser doesn't show it? So you don't want to just rely on that. So we're going to do a::hover, and this is our rollover when the user puts the mouse over the link. And then we are going to, we'll just change the color. You can do other things. You can change a background color. You can add the underline, like, because we already got rid of it, so you could add it back in. There's a lot, you could add letter spacing. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. All right, so go ahead and add whatever color you want. All right, so I'm going to save this, come in, refresh, and there we go. When you put your mouse over it, it should change. And that's what it is supposed to do. That's great. All right, so now the problem is that all of these links look the same. I don't want that. I want these links to look the way they do now, but then I want these ones to look something different. So instead of it saying every A link, every A active, every A visit, and every A hover, I want to be specific. Whoops. And I want to say, well, no, I want only the A link that's in external. Okay, so look at it. It's £, and then you write external because that's the name of the ID, space, A:, link. And then you still have that comma in there. This is saying an A tag, like the link state of an A tag that's in an external ID. Okay, well, this A tag is inside of this external ID. So that's what it's referring to. And it's also referring to this one because it's also an A tag inside of that external ID. All right, now you have to do this on all of them. So I'm going to highlight this and copy, and then paste, and then paste, and then come down here and paste. Now if yours isn't wrapping down to the next line, that's fine. It's just because my code is so large. So I'm going to save this and refresh. And this is what it should be doing. Home, about, and contact should not be styled right now. We are going to style them in a minute, but not right now. Okay. So the next thing that I want to do is style the links for home, about, and contact. So I'm going to start by saying what ID they're inside of, which is #main, not to be confused with the main tag, two different things. A: link, comma, and then I'll just repeat that for A active, comma, and then main, oops, A: visited. There we go. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I am going to give this one a background image. And the background image that I'm going to give it, let's go inside of demos, links demo start, and then if we look inside the images folder, there is an up and a down. So we will start with up.jpg, and let's put in a semicolon, and let's hit save and see what it looks like. Oh, so that's really not doing anything nice, right? So here's what this image looks like, just to show you. It's a typical pill-shaped web button. So this right here. So ideally, the text should be centered inside of this purple button. So we gotta massage it a little bit. We gotta fix that a little bit. So that doesn't really look right. So first, I want to be able to see more of the pill, right? And also, I kind of want, and I say pill, it's a pill button. That's a typical name for it. I want these links to be on their own line. So actually what I want to do is I want to take this A tag, which is an inline level element, and make it block level, because that will put it on its own line and make it take up 100% of the width of the page or the container. So I am also going to do display : block. Okay, and let's put in a comment, makes entire width clickable, and it's going to show all of the image. All right. Whoa, okay, so it definitely made it 100% wide. Okay, so each one goes the entire width of the page, and it's on its own line. That's what display block did. That's what making it a block level element does. Okay, so first, let's go in and tell the image to have a width. Now, it's not very often that we go in and put in a pixel width or pixel height, but this is one of the scenarios that we would need to do that, right? Because this image needs to be this certain size. So we'll do width, and I'll do a height, and you could get this width and height by opening this image in Photoshop and just going to image size. All right, so I just am saving us a step. All right, so we'll do that. Okay, that's looking better. All right, so now if I put my mouse all the way over here, it's not clickable, but at least now it's clickable wherever the button is, because it makes sense. If you were looking at this and thinking there were links, you would think that anywhere where there's this purple button, you should be able to click. So that's good UX design, or user experience design. All right, so we know we want it centered, right? We want the text to be centered. So that's text align center. Okay, getting there. Now we need to push it down some from the top. So that's not margin. We want to push it down from the inside. That's padding. All right, so I'll do padding, and I'll do 8 pixels from the top. See that? All right, now that's only working so well because I've done this a bunch of times. So I don't want you to get discouraged if you have to kind of go back and forth and get your numbers to be correct. I had to at first. And then let's also change the color, because that color was hard to see. So let's change the color. There we go. Much better. Okay, so yeah, we had to do all of that just to make that look nice. So let's switch it up, and now I'll do the hover. So I'll do main space A : hover. And this time I want to change the background image. All right, all kinds of different things today. So this one should be down. Now, I do not have to take all of this same stuff and paste it down here, because the hover will still do everything that's up here. The only thing it does differently is whatever you change. Okay, so whatever you want to be changed is the only thing you have to code down here. If all this stuff is going to stay the same, then you don't have to change it down here. All right, there we go. Nice and simple. Just looks like the button has been pressed down. Now, if we go to these other pages, look, this is one of the benefits of using CSS. One CSS document is that we style it in one place, and now it's going to change all of them. Right, so super nice, right? It's changing on all the pages, and all we had to do is copy and paste the code onto them, and then that was it. Okay, so nothing too incredibly hard, just kind of playing around and adjusting things that you already know how to do for the most part, but now you're using it on an A tag. As always, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Now that the recording isn't cutting off my links, here's what it should look like at the end. So Google and PTC are in green, and when you hover over them, they turn purple. And then home, about, and contact look like this. And again, you can go to any of the pages and see what they look like because of the universal navigation. So this is the way that it should look.